Alright, welcome back to another Ghost Simulator video. I'm going to try to talk a little bit quicker during this one because I do have a lot to cover. In this video, we're going to be covering the latest update, 165 in Ghost Simulator, along with going over the latest news on the Twitter for Bloxbet Games, which is something I made, so shouldn't be really tripping. Anyways, we'll be going over all that, making sure you guys are aware of what's coming up. A big thing on that is making sure that you guys know what's going on with that Twitter post, so that no one's really caught off guard with what's going on. Without further ado, let me go ahead and cover the latest update. This update has primarily focused on Remnant Zone, and then a few other changes to some smaller things in the backside. The biggest thing in this update is actually over here in the shop area of Remnant Zone. It doesn't look any different, and this is because I forgot to change the title of the Return to Backdoor. But if you go into this Return to Backdoor, instead of seeing a teleport section to Backdoor, you'll actually go ahead and see a map with teleportations in Remnant Zone. So there's finally a Remnant Zone map in the world before. You don't have to rely on the remote teleporter or other ways of getting around, like using quests. In addition to this, all maps in the game got added bonus biomes. So if you notice here, there's this random 13. This actually is bonus biome 13. If I had it unlocked, like if we go head over to Backdoor, you can pretty easily see what's going on. But bonus biomes are marked with a purple portal instead of a green portal. They'll have different numberings. Don't worry too much about it. It'll make sense once you start looking into it. Once we get into Backdoor, it should make quite a bit more sense on what it looks like. So if we head over here, we can see all these normal green portals. Backdoors might not be updated. Just a sec. Let's go to main hub. Main hub should be updated. Ghost World is a little bit bugged, so it doesn't have the bonus bomb teleports. Don't worry about it. It'll get that in the next update. But yeah, there's a green portal icon, so you can go ahead and teleport to bonus areas instead of just being able to teleport to the normal areas. In addition to this, there was some changes to the incinerator. Incinerator level went from level 8 as max level up to level 10. Its flame to gem ratio actually also got buffed. From level 10, it used to be before this update, even though level 10 wasn't available, it was 1 flame to, I believe, 1,000 gems. After the update, it's about 1 flame to 3,000 gems. So if you're looking at that, about 3 times buff. If you're looking at previous levels, so not quite the same amount, but there is some buffs going on there. In addition, with these 2 levels, there came some new purchase options. Specifically, the pet in a board got unlocked in the but yeah, as you can see, we have these purple icons. But a pet in a board can be unlocked at level 10, and then some pricing changes were happening to the other stuff. These pets and boards, the pet costs 7.5 million flames, and the board costs 10 million flames. On top of this, you do need to get up to level 10 incinerator level, which will take quite a bit of flames to get there. Overall, pretty expensive stuff to get for it, but are worth it stat-wise. The pet, for instance, has a don't quote me on this, a 301 vacuum rate and a 451 cell rate, so it's actually slightly better than Monster Mushy and vacuum stats, and then slightly worse in cell stats. But overall, really good pet. There's also some changes to currency. You'll now be getting a few more flames from selling the Remnant Zone items. As you can see here, we have the exoskeleton, which is the board. As I said, costs 10 million flames. But it should be quite worth it for people who can get it, just due to how rare it will be, so it should be worth quite a bit. In addition, there were several other reworks. Some ghosts were moved around in the last four areas in the underwater area of Remnant Zone. This was more to group them up into sets of 3. I've been grinding on my alt, so it's actually felt kind of nice to have them there. But you guys can always complain about in the comments. Some spawns were added to the castle courtyard, specifically out of the way spawns, so that new players have these options to get ghosts that more experienced players will probably just ignore because they're too far out of the way. And there's one other thing, layered clothing is now enabled. From what it looks like, this might be causing some lag issues on the game, so maybe it might be removed in the future. But if you guys like layered clothing being enabled, let me know. So I might need to just look into it and see what's actually causing lag, because people have been reporting some extra lag in the game, which I've not noticed personally, but that's probably just because I'm already running 7 FPS pretty much constantly. In addition to this, yeah, a few other bugs were patched. Final boss got some hopefully changes that should make it less soft locky. Specifically, this happened during the time freeze attack and the jump up with the orb slowing one way. Hopefully these attacks get finished up, cleaned up correctly, so that the boss will just disappear from the arena. This might not be the case. I will have to go ahead and look into it, probably more, make sure this is actually the case. On top of that, there's also setting now for disabling the glitches in backdoor. One person I think has asked about that, but it seemed like a good idea, so it got added. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the update. There's some other small tweaks, like the FPS and ping counter should be a little bit more accurate. But I mean, other than that, it's a pretty small update. Other than the incinerator improvements. But yeah, not very many people are going to be getting the incinerator. It's just way expensive, but the people who can get it, it should be pretty valuable and a pretty good collectible for them. Anyways, now let's go to that and talk about the other part of this video, and that is the Twitter post. If you guys aren't aware, there's been a Twitter post from the Bloxbyte Discord, or not Bloxbyte Discord, Bloxbyte Twitter. Come on, computer, you can run at higher than 3 FPS. No, it can't. Okay. There we go. That should be... Alright. And this is one of the reasons why this was delayed. I was working quite a bit on updates and then also on ironing out some of these details so that people are aware of what's coming in the next update. So all these changes are happening on September 6th. So that's going to be the next update of Ghost Simulator. That's in just under 2 weeks, so you have quite a bit of time to prepare. The big things about it is there's going to be a single Tycoon perk instead of the 4 Tycoons that we currently have. Petty Evo is going to get a few changes, all buffs. Game passes are going to be repriced. We're going to cover that later. But basically, buy some of the cheaper 2x currency ones, like Rems, or Ectobits, or Souls if you want them. Otherwise, they will be getting more expensive later. And then, because of the massive reworks to the Rebirth perks, people will be able to re-choose which Rebirth perks they want. So if you have like 10 petty Evos and you instead want 5 Tycoons and 5 accelerated parts, you can go ahead and do that. But anyways, get into the specifics. There's 2 different images down here. They should hopefully cover everything you need to know on this thing. They are worded a little bit weirdly. I was kind of running out of space while making this thing. And I'm not the most coherent all the time anyways, so sorry about that. The big thing is Tycoons. This will be merged into a single Tycoon with this icon. This is going to apply a 5% boost to all currencies. So instead of picking between 4 currencies which one you want 30% in, you'll be able to pick a single Tycoon and it'll get 5% boost to all currencies. On top of that, when you select this one, you can also select which currency you want to get an additional 10% for a 15% total boost. So if you selected it once and you wanted more Remnant coins than anything else, you can select it with Remnant coins and get a 15% boost there and 5% in Ectobits, Souls, and Ecto tokens. And then if you wanted to get another Rebirth perk later, you can change it every time you rebirth with the Tycoon. So if you want to rebirth later and you actually want to pivot to grinding Ectobits in Backdoor, you select it for your second Rebirth perk, select Ectobits, and then you'll get that 15% all applied to Ectobits. So you'll get 15% from the first one, 15% from the second one, 30% in Ectobits, and then 10% in Remnants, Ecto tokens, and Souls. This can be done anytime, so if you have like 25 Rebirth perks or Tycoons and you want to get a 26th one, even if you have it in Remnant Tycoons and you selected all 25 in Remnant, just because you wanted that Remnant currency, you can swap it, and by selecting your 26 as Ecto token, you'll now get all 26 times 15% in Ecto token and just the 130% in the Remnant coins, Ecto tokens, and souls. So you'll be able to basically select which currency you want, the massive part of it. But you also, even when you aren't getting it, get a 5% boost to all the currencies no matter what. This should hopefully make it so you don't have as many tycoons wasted, because you can always reselect which one you want. And then also balance it so that it also gives you some nice stuff for grinding other things. This will be actually really helpful if a new currency ever does come out, because instead of having to lose all 50, 100, 20 Rebirth tycoons that you already have if you want to grind the new currency for gems, you can just pivot all of them, Rebirth once, and be ready to go. Pet Evo is also getting a bit of a rework. It's just getting some buffs. One additional buff is that it's going to get a 5 every time you get Pet Evo. It's going to get a 5. You're going to get a 5% increase chance of 2 times XP. So if you select it once, 5% of the time you'll get 2 times XP from Ghost. If you select it 10 times, you'll have a 50% chance every time you get XP to get 2 times the pet XP. Up to 100%, obviously, because I mean, if you have a 500% chance of getting 2 times XP, it's still 2 times XP. In addition to that, the first 5 stacks of Pet Evo you get will increase your maximum pet level. So if you get it one time, you'll be able to get your pets up to level 16, 17, 18, 19, and then finally up to 20. After the first 5 Pet Evos, it won't increase any further, so you can't get it up to level 21, level 22, or anything like that. But it should hopefully make it more interesting with pet levels, because if people get 5 pet evolutions, they can now get up to level 20 pets, whereas everyone else can now only get 15. And then, in addition to this, the last thing, this is a pretty major change. The stats from Pet Evo will no longer multiply with tycoons or accelerated parts. So it will be actually a lot of a nerf for how the Rebirth scale. This one specifically is done. It will be covered later to hopefully bring down the exponential growth that you get with Tycoon, or get with Rebirth perks. Again, you are getting all these benefits of extra pet XP, extra pet levels, and the Tycoons being able to be reselected. But it should hopefully make that more balanced, especially if you're a newer player. This should help simplify which Rebirth perks you get, so you don't need to worry about mathing out a complicated exponential increase with the 5% multiplying by 30% of tycoons, and then making sure you only get 1 tycoon. This should make it a lot easier for new players to understand, and then also make it less broken OP, the amount of gems people can get, so that classifieds hopefully become a little bit more valuable in terms of how much gems you get. As I said before, Rebirths, overall general stuff. When you log in, since these are massive changes to Rebirths, you will be able to reselect which Rebirths you want. So if you can select between Tycoons, Pet Evos, Accelerator Parts, or Kiak Packs, any of these that you have before, you'll be able to reselect them however you want. If you have like 10 Tycoons, as I said earlier, and you want 5 Pet Evos and 5 Accelerator Parts, you can do that. If you have a Kiak Pack from the second arc Rebirth perk that you want to get rid of, and you have 100 crate keys, you can actually lose those 100 crate keys and spec it into a Tycoon or a Pet Evo or whatever. This should be really helpful for players. You don't have to do this immediately. Once you join, you'll have the option to do it. Most likely there's going to be an area in main hub where you can walk into it, and then if you want to, you can confirm to change it, or if you want to just change your mind and do it later. This will be a one-time thing. You'll only be able to do it once you log in. If you haven't done it, all of your things will be automatically converted into the natural progression, Pet Evo to Pet Evo. All the Tycoons will be merged, and you'll get the specification into the one that you have the most of. Until you respec, obviously, you can re-choose if you want it. If you have like 50 in Souls and 40 in Remnant Tycoons, you can respec and just change it so that all 90 go to, or that their specification is in the Remnant. Or you can take away Tycoons and whatever. But yeah, this is a one-time thing. You will have 3 months. I know it says 6 weeks here. This is a typo. You'll have 3 months to do this. You will only be able to do it once. I will be going over this when the update actually comes out to make sure people are aware of how to do this and the time. But you can take your time, look at what people are saying, look at what's good, and make sure you make an informed decision on that. Hopefully this because of the massive changes, hopefully this helps. I know the people with the key hack pack from the second arc will really love this. But yes, that should be everything for Rebirth. In addition to this, there's some also more general changes. One of the big ones is because of the nerf to the scaling on the Rebirths, the gem cap will be removed. All gems that you have before you'll keep, all currencies you will keep. So if you have 10 trillion gems in Remnant coins, you will be able to convert them all into gems immediately. I might regret this, but I think now that Rebirths are balanced or whatever, it should be a fine case. In addition, game passes are getting some changes. 2 times currency game passes will all be set to 400 Robux. This is just to make sure it's standardized, and like, you know, 2 times gems is like the worst one, 2 times rems is the best one, and they're at the opposite ends of the spectrum. So balancing it all at 400 should make it nice and even. It's a pretty good price point for Roblox because people can buy 400 Robux. And yeah, overall, it just makes a lot more sense to have them all at the same price. Again, this only applies to all currency ones. So 2 times gems, 2 times tokens, 2 times souls, 2 times ectobits, and 2 times rems. These are the only ones that are getting the price adjustment. Overall, actually, when you look at those 5 game passes, someone else said that they actually do math out to the same price before and after, with the average actually being at that exactly 400. Is just some of the earlier ones were more expensive, some of the later ones are cheaper, but should make it a lot more standard for the pricing, and then also make it not be like, why is 2 times gems 650 and 2 times rems 250 when one of them is obviously superior. If you want to buy them for cheaper, you all have until September 6th. So if you are able to buy them and you want to buy like 2 times rems, 2 times ectobits, or 2 times souls, go ahead and do that before the September 6th. Otherwise, they will cost 400 Robux, and yeah, that's not great. And then the reason why, as I've kind of covered as I've gone over all these, the changes to Tycoons helps alleviate an issue that players had with the useless Rebirth perks, like specifically Tycoons becoming useless whenever a new world dropped or whatever. People complain about that. So this should allow people to not have that issue anymore, which should be great. And then it also reduces the overscaling. It is a nerf. As I said, I was looking at it. If you have 100 pet evos or 100 Rebirths with 50 pet evos and 50 tycoons before this is just 1 tycoon, you're getting actually a 5x nerf to 50 pet evos and 50 tycoons afterwards, assuming the 15% to a single currency. It's a 5x nerf there. But because of how it works, you are also getting the bonus from pet evos with the extra XP, the extra levels. You're also getting the 5% to all the other currencies in Tycoon, but it is still a 5x nerf to the amount of gems you can grind per second. But this does help fix an exponentially scaling problem that Rebirth perks have had, and should hopefully make it a lot easier to balance gems in the future, to, you know, not be as broken, overpowered for the people who have done that much Rebirth. They still will get a lot more gems than people who don't have those Rebirths. You're still getting plus 15% or plus 5% currency per Rebirth. Is just, instead of it being a times 1.3 or whatever, it's just plus 1.3 or 0.3, whatever. But yeah, it is a nerf. It is more of a helpful nerf, especially since the quality of life improvements to Tycoon and the buffs to Pet Evo should make those perks a lot more standalone rather than just currency. Additionally, standardized pricing for game passes, I mean, that's pretty obvious. And then, yeah, the buffs to Pet Evo help it stand out instead of just being a currency boost. On top of this, I know it's not made clear in here, but I should say Pet Evo will be able to be disabled after this. So, you know, the 2 people that get stats for the week, you no longer need to have a math degree to figure out what their base pet stats are. But yeah, I know people have been asking for that one. Yeah, overall, it should, from what I've seen, it's mainly positives. It is a bit confusing. Hopefully, if you guys do have questions, people can answer them. I know basically for the last hour, I've been answering questions on Discord on stuff like this. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer. It looks like people are mostly positive about these changes. I haven't seen really any negative, even though it is a huge nerf, which is honestly surprising. So I expect to get some hate at some point, but maybe people just don't realize just how much of a nerf it is. It is a pretty significant nerf, but it's just one of those things that it kind of needs to happen anyways. So, or at least in my opinion, gems should be more balanced than they are right now. But yeah, that's the last update. And the next update for you guys, I will be releasing a video when this update drops to hopefully let you guys know what you should pick, what you shouldn't pick, go over the details more specifically on how you can repick, and all the stuff that comes with that. In the meantime, if you have questions, ask here, ask on Discord, ask on Twitter. I don't respond to Twitter stuff, but I probably should. And yeah, if you guys have comments, questions, feedback, leave it in the comments. I know this is a long video. It is a one-take video, and hopefully it's not too long and too rambly. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for a hard mode thing. I was kind of busy today with this and some other stuff, so hopefully I actually do get a video out there. But yeah, see you guys then. Bye.